was a lot. You know, it was other times. She had gotten pregnant, other things, and it just got to a point.
She had gotten pregnant again?
Yeah.
While y'all were together?
Yeah.
And it wasn't you?
Not with me.
Ah, come on,
No,
Kel.
It wasn't me. It wasn't.
And you stuck around?
Yeah, I stuck around.
I mean, you had one.
Yeah.
You aborted that, but that wasn't yours. She told you. You didn't know.
Yeah.
You had one of your own, and she.
Yeah.
Your memory is so interesting to me because I don't know why you didn't remember that I don't even like bodily fluids. So that I was actually relieved to find out when you were cheating. When I found out you were cheating, I was relieved. Did you remember that? Remember that I lost my virginity to you? Do you remember that?
What, do you want a cookie or something?
So your
wasn't
memory
your last,
is interesting.
clearly.
So
Kel Mitchell. Remember Kel Mitchell from the Keenan and Kel show? He was recently on the Club Shay Shay podcast. And it's crazy. You never heard from him after Keenan and Kel. Really, I mean, he's made a few appearances on a handful of shows. But Keenan Thompson, you've seen him. He's been going strong on SNL for over 20 years, right? So what's Kel been up to? Kel has been fighting off this banshee of a crazy woman that he got himself wrapped up in, and he knocked her up. So that attachment is binding. But before we get into the video, if you wouldn't mind just liking this video and subscribing to my channel, I'd really appreciate it. I'm approaching 1,000 subscribers. You guys have been awesome. Thank you for the help. Keep tapping in for updates on degeneracy and foolishness that's circulating the social media. I will be happy to cover it. Myself, don't like to be in drama, but I have a good time talking my ish.
She ended up telling me that the baby that was aborted wasn't mine. You are immedially married within a lie already.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So the marriage was never the same after that, was it?
No, it was. This is at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? This is right at the beginning. Damn. And so within that process,
she probably should have kept that to herself.
And well, you know, I'm glad she didn't. And so within that process, with that being known, it was just like, yo, it was a lot. You know, it was other times. She had gotten pregnant, other things, and it just got to a point.
She had gotten pregnant again?
Yeah.
While y'all were together?
Yeah.
And it wasn't you?
Not with me.
Ah, come on, Kel.
It wasn't me. It wasn't.
And you stuck around?
Yeah, I stuck around. But here's the thing. These were things that were being revealed. You know,
she telling you this? No. How do you find this out? I want to know how you found this out. You read a letter you got with.
Excuse me. He said that this was at the beginning of their marriage, and he stuck around. What now? Honestly, if there's love there, maybe they had a baby on the way. I could see why a man would want to stay. All right, it was in the past. The baby wasn't born. Though you did lie to me. Oh, that's such a bad lie. Oh my God, that's tough. That's tough. And you knew it too. And you were gonna make me believe that it was mine. Screw that chick. Now, throughout the marriage, right? They have 2 kids together. But then she gets knocked up a 3rd time or 4th, whatever. And this kid was not his, not Kel's. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This woman, this heifer, cannot keep her legs closed to save her life. Never mind getting knocked up. Sweetheart, STDs. Why are you raw dogging all these dudes? Why are you letting all these dudes clap their cheeks with their nuts hanging out, raw, shooting up the club when you have a husband and kids at home?
To the phone?
Yeah, okay. All right, so how that one went, there was a thing where we weren't having sex anymore. and we weren't doing anything more because
you weren't having sex. Clearly she was.
yeah, it's just because of I knew what was going on.
Right.
And I was like, yo, what is even happening? You're not coming home. You're not doing all these different things.
And y'all man, she not coming home.
Yeah. But then this was, back then.
Yeah.
We praying for her now. It's all good.
Yeah.
But this is what the process of what I was going through.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And so now as this is going on, there was a time, get some more soda.
I need something stronger than soda, Kel. You telling me that right here.
Go ahead, brother.
I mean, you had one, you aborted that, but that wasn't yours. She told you didn't know. You had one of your own, and
Yeah. Well, yeah. There was a situation where there was a guy, and I had a feeling, you know what I mean, that she was
Did you know him?
Talking to somebody. It was one of her friends that used to come over, right? And I was working a lot, you know what I mean? So it was one of those situations. And so I was dropping off the kid.
Fellas, deciding who you're going to marry is probably going to be the most important decision you're going to make in your life. With how marriage is in a divorce about 50% of the times, and 70 to 80% of that is initiated by women. Oh my God, it's just hard. It's just hard, dude. You're just throwing a dart in the dark. You need to wrap it up, dude. You need to wrap it up, because once you knock up a chick and you're kind of tired. You're kind of done. One of my New Year's resolutions was, don't be dealing with any women you wouldn't be caught dead in public with. All right, I'll let you go ahead and use your imagination on what I mean by that. But yeah, there's just some women you just have no business. You have no business with. There's some women you have no business tolerating. All right, you're just thinking with the wrong head. And hey, I'm not perfect, so let's keep each other accountable. Right? Subscribe to my channel. Stay updated as I give little bits and pieces of my life. You feel free to check me. Right? Feel free to let me know in the comments whenever I'm slipping. I appreciate the constructive criticism. Now we're about to see who exactly Kel Mitchell was married to. This headliner is: Kel Mitchell's ex-wife denies that she was impregnated by other men during their marriage, accuses him of physical and mental abuse, cheating, and more. Oh my God, just the lying already begins.
So, Kel, who is this person that was pregnant? Because it was not me. Like, who was this? And then other thing is, like, how do you remember all these pregnancies, but you don't remember your kids for like years? Like, I don't even know, 13, I don't know, 14. And then how do you remember all these pregnancies, but you don't remember Nick, in my cheerleading outfit, right? Like, how does your memory work exactly? Because you remember lots of things about me from a long time ago, and it's kind of odd, like how your memory works. Like, you don't remember. I don't know. Do you remember your daughter in a car accident? Do you remember your son losing his tooth? Do you remember taking your kids' money? Do you remember being completely physically, mentally abusive? Do you remember that you used to beat me and hit me and choke me and strangle me when I would come out the hospital because I have single beta thalassemia disease? Do you remember that?
Yes, you mentioned.
Do you remember that you were addicted to sex? Do you remember
He's a man.
that? Do you remember
me
catching you with a man? Do you remember that? Do you remember you using the money that I created to pay for an entire woman's place? Do you remember that? Do you remember taking the kids to Chicago and not telling me? Do you remember unilaterally filing for divorce and then moving back in with your mistress? Do you remember that? It's just, your memory is so strange. Like, do you remember that you didn't have any money for 5 years in the studio?
Yeah, so I already don't like her. Like, she has to play the victim. She has to give a response. I guess she's she's big on TikTok or whatever. I don't know. So she was compelled to give a response. That's not the issue. It's the lack of accountability, and it's just throwing out all their dirty laundry. Now, Kel Mitchell, the initial question to Kel was, why did you contemplate taking your own life in 2004? And he's going over everything that led up to that moment, right? And sure enough, when he did finally decide to get a divorce, it was hell for him. And she did not want him to see the kids, and she wasn't even fit to take care of the kids, right? She was crazy. She was crazy as hell, as you could imagine, right? And she wanted to stay with the dude that knocked her up. All sorts of craziness, right? But he didn't come from a place of hostility, right? He wasn't saying anything out of spite. He's just saying what happened. Now she's deciding to disclose every little detail in their marriage and their time together. And I'll be damned for anybody to start listing all the negative things that they remember, right? Because sure enough, for everyone negative, there's 5, 6 positive things, but we don't want to talk about that. How dare her? How dare she bring up how, oh, do you remember your son losing his tooth? I don't give a damn about that. That's fine. That's fine. I don't mind that. She's like, do you remember not seeing your kids for like 12, 13 years or whatever? It's because you withheld them from him, right? Or you weren't fit to take care of them, so they had to stay with their parents. This is what happened. I don't know about, these other allegations, mistresses being with a dude. It could happen. It could not have happened. Who knows? She just doesn't strike me as somebody who I want to believe. She could be right. I don't know, but I don't like her. So, yeah, I'm a bit biased right now.
Told you that, basically told everybody that you were dead. And so I had to write a pilot for you. Do you remember that I wanted to be a mathematician, but instead I decided to be in a rap group with you? Do you remember that? Do you remember that when no one else was talking about you, I produced and wrote Kel Videos Live? Do you remember? Do you remember I also wrote and produced Ganked? Do you remember that? Do you remember that movie that you did with Cedric the Entertainer, the one that I gave you? Do you remember that you took that and you sold it for $2,500? Do you remember that? Because your memory is so interesting to me. Because I don't know why you didn't remember that I don't even like bodily fluids. So that I was actually relieved to find out when you were cheating. When I found out you were cheating, I was relieved. Did you remember that? Do you remember that I lost my virginity to you? Do you remember that?
What, do you want a cookie or something?
So your
memory is
interesting.
Clearly.
So I think we should, let's figure out, let's sit down. Let's have a sit down.
Kel, whoever's watching, whoever's in a situation where the girl's just trying to ruin their life, their ex, just don't feed into it. Don't give her what she wants. Ignore her. Move on. She's just clinging on desperately for any connection with you, good or bad. It's best to just detach yourself from the reminder of some of your worst decisions.